Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Squared Circle Maniacs Pro Wrestling Podcast. My name is Johnny Bottles. To my left is Dr. Don Wayne, the next beard psychologist from Twitter and from many YouTube comments, I may add. He's been what's that? Yay, women's wrestling! Yay, team! Everybody have fun. Go sports. Block Larry, first one in with the hate. Don, I heard we're in the Monet.
What the fuck was that?
You look absolutely gobsmacked.
This was me last night, all night for 2 hours. This was me. Dumbfounded and lost. What the hell was that? I stayed up for that. I got up at 4 a.m. to go to work, and I stayed up for this. Look at me. Do I look okay?
No, you don't look okay, Don.
I'm hearing pumped-in voices again. Are people chanting?
CEO!
Oh,
CEO!
shit, there it is. Where do we start with this?
It was folks, I'd like to thank you all for visiting the Squared Circle Maniacs YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe. We'll be saying that several times throughout this video, so get used to it. And it's not a big deal to like and subscribe. We're on a subscription kick right now. We're trying to move up our subscription.
Trying
numbers.
to get to 500.
So,
that 500.
Trying to get to 500. That's all we want to do. Just get to 500, and then we'll hit that plateau and we'll be happy. If you like what you see, please like, subscribe, check out some of the other videos on the channel, and see if you enjoy those. We're just a couple of guys sitting around like they would be in a bar, having a few drinks, and talking about the state of professional wrestling. And professional wrestling is in such a state. As we saw with AEW, it's in a weird state because one company can be way, way, way up, and another company, which was a young upstart, is way, way down. And if you are one of those AEW neckbeard fanaticists on the line, they're way, way down, fellas. We hate to tell you, but they're sucking wind right now. They really are. Because of one man who's in charge.
Just go ahead and give the number before we get into it, then we'll break it down a little bit. But what was I don't want to bring it up. The number was what? 801 was the number today? Like, that's what it finally came out with.
What we're talking about, and if you saw the thumbnail, they are creatively bankrupt because Mercedes Moné, the former Sasha Banks, made her debut last night on AEW Dynamite. It's been talked about since November of last year, Don?
About December. Like, she's been the talk of, look, I want to get into this.
The talk of free agency. What free agents are out there are going to sign with AEW? Sasha Banks, she's Mercedes Moné now. She's signed, and Don, the rating was for her debut last night
801. 801,000 people.
22,000 over what they did last week. 779,000 last week with the great Okada headlining the show. This week, Okada and Mercedes Moné and Will Ospreay, the Wonder Child, were all in the show, and they completely shit the bed.
I'm not going to go crazy to start off with, but I do want to get this out of the way. I was told that this was, and I know you're a fan of hers. You've mentioned that before. I'm not going to come out here.
I do love Sasha Banks.
And I'm going to come out here and say this. I've never gotten it with her. I don't get it with women's wrestling for the most part. All right. And I know people go, you're a sexist. Look, numbers don't lie. They did an 801,000 number last night. She didn't draw shit. She didn't draw pond water to this show. They sold about 8,000 tickets, which I can't wait to talk about that tomorrow because God knows.
Well, allegedly, Don, I saw the new number.
No, that's tomorrow.
Ooh,
that's
okay.
tomorrow.
We'll do it tomorrow.
Allegedly. I know what was sold, and I know what was reportedly sold and what somebody else said. So,
well, when they list tickets distributed, that's a red flag right there. Because tickets distributed does not mean actual people paying money for tickets. That means radio station giveaways. That means passing them out as contests for TV and whatever. Email contests, things like that. So,
well, here it is. I was told that Mercedes Moné was the next big signing. I was told that she was the next game changer coming into AEW. I was told that she is a lot to have. that she brings a lot of eyes to the company, that she is the future of women's wrestling, that they couldn't handle her in WWE because she was all that she was everything that you would like about women's wrestling. She came out to pumped in crowd music with the crowd finally catching on and going, okay, we're chanting CEO, which, look, everybody has their moments, right? We had diarrhea, Dwayne on Raw last week that somehow the fans actually owned on SmackDown. We'll talk about that later. But she came out and she did her hand gimmicks and she does the thing. I did not watch WWE when she was in there. I had given up on my fandom, to be quite honest. The only way I kept up on it for years, for probably 4 or 5 years, was just reading what had happened. I'd watch WrestleMania every year and watch a couple of weeks into the build-up to see what was going on, if this was something I wanted to watch or not. And I said, okay, wrestling officially I felt like had passed me by. Like, maybe everybody's right. I'm an older gentleman now. Wrestling is not for me. It's for younger people. And I said, okay, that's fine. And then here in the last probably year and a half, 2 years, suddenly wrestling on one channel has taken a tremendous turn back to the things that I like. A lot of good storylines, personal vendettas, personal beefs, people having a legit issue with each other, people having legit squabbles. You've got a title that I want. I wish they'd bring back the money stuff, but that's neither here nor there.
Episodic storytelling, Don, filled with continuity.
I was told last night she would be a game changer. And she got in the ring, and I'm not going to rip her. I'm not going to go crazy. She pulled up on a Mercedes Maybach. I know that because I had to do an actual report on that in college for my marketing class. She pulled up in that. I knew immediately it's a Mercedes. It's her. She's officially in the building. I know you had some doubts if she'd actually be there. I know you were hoping for the worst case scenario where she just shits on Tony. She showed up. She cut a promo in the middle of the ring, and here's why I despise modern wrestling. It wasn't about I'm here to prove I'm the best. It wasn't about I've got a personal vendetta with this bitch or this chick, and I'm going to kick this chick's ass, and I'm going to make a lot of money doing it. It's always been a dream of mine to wrestle in front of an audience like this. It's always been a dream. Why's everybody got to talk about a dream? And then she almost breaks down crying, talking about her brother. I'm sure all of this is true, and it's a great heartfelt story for 60 minutes preview or documentary behind the scenes, not your debut. When you get in front of the camera, tell me why you're here, why you want to kick somebody's ass, and what title you're going after. Because she didn't debut like some scrub. She's clearly a main event star out the gate. And then she calls out Willow Nightingale and says she's not done with her yet. And at the end of the night, they're standing in the ring together. I thought, and I just want to say this, and I want to hear what you say.
She's raising Willow's arm.
Yes. I thought the promo she cut was average. It was an average promo. It was nothing great. It was nothing amazing. She had a good crowd of 8,000 people or so, right? It was a good crowd for AEW, especially. It was amazing. She's a hometown
and they were excited.
Girl.
They were excited to see a star.
It was all excited. And once again, it's another star from WWE that's no longer there because they've done such a piss poor job of building their own stars. She cut her promo, her music hit again, and she did her dance out of the ring, and that was it. And the commentators would not stop gushing. We've seen a star come out tonight. No, I hate to correct you, Tony. We just saw a CEO. That's a good point, pal. Get the hell out of here. This was why This is why I stopped watching wrestling. This is why I stopped watching. What did you think of the promo? What did you think of her coming out? I don't want to criticize the girl to no end, but I expected more out of this because I've been told she's so great, and all I saw was meh.
The promo was me. And there's a reason why she didn't do a lot of promos in WWE. And they're tight with their promos in WWE. It's all written down ahead of time. You have to memorize it when Vince was there. And she was a star when Vince was there. However, if she just did bullet points today or last night, bullet points, and try to recite all that and it just ad-libbing, it was the shits as far as I'm concerned. It was the shits. She didn't deliver. It was boring. It should have been like a minute or a 2-minute promo, not a 10-minute promo like what she was doing in the ring. They should have had somebody come out right away This was a golden opportunity to bring out Britt Baker. I know she's got a bad back or whatever. Bring her back to cut a promo. Her mouth's not hurt. Her back is hurt. Bring her back to.
Easy, pal. Easy, pal.
Bring her.
Just because the roller coaster's closed, don't mean the park ain't open.
Exactly. All she's got to do is come out and cut a promo on Mercedes Moné and get face to face in the ring, and people would say, Don, I want to see that. That's more interesting for me and for you as a wrestling fan and anybody else out there than hearing about her brother who's got some kind of like learning disability or whatever he is, and coming up through chaotic wrestling and all the other horse shit. And who cares about all that? Have her in a conflict with somebody right away. Why not?
It should have been a big star that she had a beef with. You're right. Right away.
This poor storytelling. Baker could have came out and said, I'm the top dog, or Tony Storm for that matter. Listen, I'm the champ. She could have came out with Luther and her mini-me and cut a promo with Mercedes Moné saying, you'll never get this title while you're here. Don't worry about it. But it looks like she's going to go after the TBS title. That's in the hands of Julia Hart from the House of Black. What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? Are they waiting for Snooki Perazzo to have a rubber match with Tony Storm
Apparently
and not win that belt? What the fuck is what the F is going on, pal? I don't understand any of it. And I found online Soraya's first promo. Her first promo when she debuted in AEW. And it's disturbingly similar to Mercedes Moné's first promo, if you'd like to see that.
It's it's
all me, and I'm home, Don. I'm home.
I'm always
this
home.
Is where I need to
always
be.
Home.
I should have been here from the beginning. This is where I need to be. This is where the revolution of wrestling is. Blah, 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 blah. This is the shit that Tony tells him to say. And it's the shits.
Here's something. So Greg mentioned this earlier, right? When she came down later and had her altercation, it looked good. She looked good. I can't take anything away from that. When she hit homegirl coming out of the ring, it looked like she laid her shit in. I'm not a fan of that new finisher. Like that didn't look good. I don't know what the hell that was.
Awful. That's something she developed when she went to New Japan.
Go back to whatever she was doing. Do something that she doesn't have to pick some. Whatever that was. I don't know what it was. Just do the X-Pac, slam the bitch's head in the dirt. Move. I don't care. But that isn't it. Like, she shouldn't be trying to lift anybody up or do any of that shit, in my opinion. She's just not big enough.
Yeah.
And she did. And Stussy just mentioned this. I want to throw it up. Why does she have to mention Eddie Guerrero all the time? Why do they go for this cheap pop? She wasn't even around with this guy. And God rest his soul, he was a great wrestler. But they do it every time. It's, let me mention a dead wrestler that fans love. It drives me
legit. That was
crazy.
her idol. That was her idol in wrestling.
I don't care. I don't care. When CM Punk came back, I don't care, dude.
When this podcast is over, Don will go and kick both of his dogs. Right in the ribs.
They're good. They messed me today. It's just I didn't. When she said, I was like, why? He was never in this company. Why do they mention people all the time that weren't in this company? When Punk went back to WWE, he said, I'm home. And I got that because he'd been there before. It made sense to me as a fan. Yes, it did not work out in AEW. This was horrible. All of this was bad. And yes, even I get that she's half Latina. She's not related to him. It's got shit to do with nothing. I mean, my God. Yet your favorite wrestler. Right. I get it, but why? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to do that interview, cool. But your debut, I just felt like it should have been more, here's why I'm here. Here's who I got beef with, but it's always, I want to have great matches. I want to touch butterflies. I'm so happy to be here.
Great matches with who?
But that's with who? Tell me who you have a problem with, man. Tell me a reason that you're here. You're pissed. This is why you came here. I'm sick and tired of this chick. She's been saying she's the best. I'm the best. Something of that nature. CM Punk in the first couple of nights, he let it be known. He's got an issue with he's got an issue with Drew McIntyre. He and Seth Rollins got an issue. They got to settle some scores. Let it be known. Cody Rhodes, you've got to finish your story and I've got to finish mine, and they're going to intersect somewhere. Like, it was storytelling. Like, I've got issues with you people.
Don, let me ask you this question. Didn't they just hire her favorite writer from WWE who supposedly, quote unquote, worked hand in hand with Sasha when Sasha was there in the WWE? Jennifer Peppermint, I think, or Peppermill,
Yes.
whatever the hell her name is. They just hired her, didn't they?
Yes, they did. She is there.
And they came up with that promo?
It just could have been better, man. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good. And I was expecting at least good. Am I alone here? Somebody tell me, am I alone?
No.
It just wasn't good.
It was blase, blase. It was just...
And I'm not...
Don, you sat down and you wanted a steak and lobster dinner, and what they served you was a Philly cheesesteak and a fish sandwich. That's what you got.
And I ordered the lobster. Like, that's how I feel. I ordered the lobster, and they were like, we got a grilled cheese. It'll fill the hole, but it's not what I wanted. And just the other thing, and I'm going to talk about this because I'm going to sound like an old bastard. I hate entrance rap music. I hate it with a passion. You can never hear the music. You can never hear the words to the lyrics. It's always muffled. I've yet to see somebody come out other than John Cena's music where they rapped and it was clear. Because he said very few words and they made it as concise as possible. So it worked for him. When you're coming out to all that garbage and you're running 500 words together and you're trying to make a top 10 song, that shit's not going to work. I don't know. And also it's just CEO. I was like, what are the words saying about this? I can't make out what the fuck is going on your song.
That's the audio mix from AEW production. That's what that is. I'm sure you could actually, if you played it off of Spotify, you could make out all the words.
Yes,
but it's the shitty audio mix that's in production.
Yes, I did screw up my name. I just realized that. It's Busted Move Q. I got to fix that later. It's going to be what it is tonight, pal. It's Busted Move on Twitter if you're looking for me.
Jesus H. Christ, Don.
I'm frazzled, man. It's just,
you're all verklempt from all this. I know I was. I kept waiting the whole show. I'm watching. I'm sitting through this shit show last night, like you were, waiting for something good to happen. And it was nothing. Nothing good happened. It was all badness. When I heard Riho and Lizzo Nightingale were in the main event, I facepalmed. Literally. It was like a meme right there in my living room.
And here it is. Even says it. You need guitars. You need something that the fans can get behind, not just the meddling of music together to where you can't figure out what the hell's going on. Every great wrestler, I'm going to say this now. Every great wrestler, when their music hits, it wasn't that's a slow build. It was bam. I'm coming out now. Even Edge's music. Sorry, Adam Copeland today, as he's known. Even his music, you know immediately who it is because it's got an opening. On this day, it's here he comes. CM Punk's music, Hulk Hogan's music, Demolition's music. You knew who was coming through that curtain. It had
a Wayback Machine there.
I am, but that's why. It had even John Cena's music. The opening, riff of it's rap, but it's great. It's good because you can figure it out.
The horn riff.
Yes. Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero's music you do is coming out. We keep mentioning
The Undertaker.
Undertaker, gongs going off. You knew it immediately. Lord Eamon, don't mention this. My God, son.
This bad.
It's just
no chance.
I don't know, man. I guess I'm just getting old, but this just didn't hit me where I was hoping it would. Yes, you know what? Even Samoa Joe in this company's great. You know immediately he's coming out.
Right. I'm afraid that Mercedes Moné is a victim of the Copeland effect.
She comes out and looks at one half of the damn stadium.
No. WWE? No, the place was full this week. But wait till she's in Kansas, Ohio next week.
I know,
at the Lawn and Tractor Center, and there's nobody there. 1,700 people, and she's going to come out and go,
"What?
What the hell?" She'll face one side of the stage and go like that.
Yes.
With the rings.
I don't want to harp on this all
Christopher
night. We probably
Stike
could.
Leather. Christopher Stike Leather. If that son of a bitch's name is John Horton Wardlow, oh my God in heaven, I will laugh I'll urinate right here laughing. Is that his legit name? There's
I don't
no
know.
goddamn way.
Don't do this. Don't do this.
Oh my God. And that's something else we have to talk about, but we were just talking about it. We're just both shocked by
the averageness.
The averageness of a star from the WWE without the WWE machine behind her to prop her up. And it's telling. It's really telling. One company knows exactly what they're doing, and another company has no idea what they're doing with stars. Let's just sign everybody. Sign them all. I want the latest action figure. I'll go to Walmart, Toys R Us, wherever I got to go to pick it up. You've got oh my God, you've got Mercedes Moné with the real leather WWE Championship belt. I'll buy her right now.
So there's more to cover ridiculous on the show, and I don't want to spend forever on this because we can talk about her all night, but
brother, this is what everybody's talking about in the IWC. Everybody's talking about the failure of AEW and Mercedes Moné in big business. But let's go right into the next match if you want to.
Well, we can cover this real quick, but I didn't see a whole lot of chatter today from the AEW diehards, the Freakazoids and Neckbeards, champion this show last night. I didn't see it.
Because they know it was a terrible show. They could tell.
Yeah, I didn't see it today. I didn't see the usual suspects. I didn't see the usual bots out there. I was surprised that even they, bowed down and said, no, this wasn't it. And the diehards usually come out of the woodworks after this, and it doesn't matter how bad the show or average it might have been. They're always like, this was a banger. Did you not see the match? Okay, I'll watch the whole show again. And like you said, the next match was Samoa Joe and Wardlow.
And they brought out Samoa Joe, who's their biggest before her. He was with MJF gone, he was their biggest ratings draw. Whenever Joe would come out, Don and I have talked about this for weeks. The ratings maintain or they go up when Joe comes out, usually at the top of the 9 o'clock hour. And they trotted him out right after her to try to retain some of that audience. And they got a rising star in Wardlow. They billboarded Wardlow, Don, for having...
Well, they had a rising star. Let me correct you. They had a rising star. They had a star that they were building. They had something they were doing with them. And I understand... Look, I understand it and I don't understand it, right? So there was so many ways. I'm going to play backyard booker right now, right? Because that's what I'm going to do.
Why not?
You don't, well, look, because I've never booked a show in my life. I'm not going to pretend like I actually know how to do it, but this is what I would have done. Swerve Strickland is their biggest face right now in the company. I don't think that's questionable. That's what they are, right? He's the biggest face in the company.
Arguably, yeah.
Arguably, okay. I'm just going to say this because they love his theme music. They love the swerve. They love how he comes out. Why are you beating Wardlow with a choke out in the middle of the ring in front of God and everybody when clearly they're not done with Swerve Strickland? Clearly he's going to have another match at the next pay-per-view. Why is he not coming out and causing a DQ and giving Wardlow a legit bitch on why he lost that match? It was right there. He came out after he got choked out. It made no sense. It made no sense. It just, I didn't understand it.
Where was the Undisputed Kingdom? Where were they? Where was Adam Cole? Where was Roderick Strong? Where was Bennett and the other goof? Where were they?
Again.
They could have run in. They could have run in. And is there another story? Are you going to tell a story about how Wardlow was left out to hang out to dry? When for weeks Adam Cole talked about he's going to win that belt and he's going to give it to me.
I thought the way that they did this was god-awful. I felt like they could have kept the momentum on Wardlow's side. If you're going to bring Swerve Strickland out anyway, why don't you have him cause the DQ and give Wardlow a legit bitch? They can still move on to the pay-per-view in April and still have this rematch that they want, right? Am I wrong here? Like, they can still do this.
No.
And you're not taking the steam off the guy then. And now I've got a legit bitch. And now you've got a reason for these factions to have a problem with Swerve and his people. Now you've got an issue, right? Leading up to this.
Not any legit wrestling company, if a big challenger for a belt gets choked out in 10 minutes, right in the middle of the ring, clean. It's over. It's done. That feud is over with, right? Any other legit wrestling company where they know what they're doing.
I didn't get it. Like you said, I don't get it, man. Like, you don't beat the guy that you've been pushing for the last several weeks, cleaning the ring like that, man. They keep doing this shit with Wardlow over and over again. It just doesn't make any sense at this point in time, Johnny.
There's got to be something else, Don. There's got to be something else going on behind the scenes, whether or not he's pissed off the wrong people backstage. If he's Vince McMahon, somebody's head backstage. He's done something to somebody where they're pissed off at Wardlow, and they yanked it right out from underneath of him this week. Something's happened.
I just didn't.
Something's happened. But they every bad thing that happens in AEW, Don, they keep locked down. It's all ratcheted down. You'll never find out what it is.
I thought this. It's not that the match wasn't bad, right? Like, this was probably one of the best matches I've seen Wardlow have. He was getting over on the world champion. It was short, and I don't have a problem if you're going to keep it short, because there are two bulls out there. Don't give away the steak for free. Give it a teaser. I just didn't know why they did beat him this way. Clean in the middle of the ring. He's out. He got beat, choked out. He choked the shit out of him, folks. Treated him like
he can wrestle. He looks like $1 million. And the rare chances they give him to talk on the microphone, he delivers. Doesn't say much, but
I felt like there was so many different ways they could have done this. If you're going to have Swerve come out, I'm not going to keep harping on it. They could have beaten him another way, and it would have kept everybody looking good and kept the hot angle going. This shit was just terrible, man.
You could have.
Shit was terrible. And what was after that, Johnny? Do you have it?
Do we go down with these quarter hours while we're talking about that?
Let's talk about it after.
Okay. Next was
that was the segment with the Bucks in the back, right?
Well, Swerve came out.
Yeah, Swerve came.
And that was over with, and then the Young Bucks arrived with Okada. Backstage angle, and then they came out to the ring.
Hold on, no.
Right away.
The backstage angle was hokey 1990s early WWE, WCW shit.
Unfunny garbage.
Just terrible. Totally unfunny. And they think they're comics, man. They legit think that they're funny as hell. There's nothing funny about these goose, man. There's nothing tough about these jackasses. Nothing about these guys makes me want to watch them when they come on my television. Nothing. And then they said, you need to sing him happy birthday. Mm-hmm. We're singing happy birthday now?
Officer Barbrady sing happy birthday to Okada.
All that we're missing now is an 80s scene with a birthday cake and somebody's face goes in it. That's all we're missing right now. That's all we're missing. So this was awful. And then they had the match. And it's the same buck shit we see every week with these guys, man. Wait, did they wrestle next? Yes, they did. Correct?
They did. They did. I'm shocked about the physical appearance of Okada. Do these people, or when they sign people to work in this company, do they tell them, you don't have to bother working out. Don't worry about lifting weights. We don't want you to get hurt. We'll wait till you can break your neck almost in the ring. You get hurt that way. We don't want you
definitely going to break your neck.
Or pull a muscle. Yes. We don't want you to strain anything, get a hernia, tear a bicep working out. Don't worry about that. Okada looks like shit. He does. He looks terrible.
I don't know.
I'm not saying he's Adam Cole, but he looks terrible.
I've never seen the guy. I've never seen him. Like, I don't know anything about him. I don't watch Japanese wrestling because I don't know. I don't like it. And I'm not going to waste my time on it. I heard he was a great wrestler. This looked like every other match that they ever do. Kingston did the same shit he does always. Pac is back. That was different to see. Pac is back. It looks like he found Lou Ferrigno's stash while he was gone. Holy shit, is that guy jacked to the gills? So he was looking like $1 million.
Then you've got Eddie Kingston right next to Pac. You know, Bischoff, I watched Bischoff's podcast today. And Bischoff, he offended Conrad Thompson. What he said, Eddie Kingston looks like he just got off from the Jiffy Lube where he works part-time and went right into the ring. That's what he said. Eddie Kingston he looks... Stussy, you see what Stussy just said? Kingston's the best shape of his career. And that's really saying something, too.
It's called
That's
rap.
really saying something.
It's
the
called
pot
rap.
belly's going down a little bit, but still. Eddie Kingston hasn't lifted a single weight the entire time he's been AEW. I guarantee it. Guarantee it.
I don't have a clue what this. It's the same Bucks match every time that you're getting. You're not seeing
Every time,
anything new.
Don.
They're going to do some shit. They're going to no sell a bunch of shit, and it's going to be a garbage finish every time. And you knew they weren't taking this L now that they are the new All Elite. So I don't want to talk about this anymore because it was frustrating as hell. What was next? Give me what's next on your little sheet.
What's next was a wonderful Adam Copeland video with Christian Cage.
Oh yeah, we're still doing this shit because we're going back to where it all started.
Good evening, Humble. How are you?
Fat Edie actually smoked cigs. I'm not surprised. I'd
love to see him smoke in the ring. I love to see him smoke in the ring like the Big Show did.
God
WCW
damn it, Beer Man.
Just fire up or like Beer Man. Just fire up a cigar like Beer Man right when he starts the match and jam it into somebody's eyeball.
Read what that degenerate just wrote.
Leave Eddie alone off his workout program.
What is wrong with you, man? God,
I love the Beer Man at Cleaning Towels on Twitter at Cleaning Towels, all lowercase. Follow the Beer Man. He's amazing.
I thought, by the way, we were done with this whole angle, and it's like a bad case of food poisoning. It doesn't stop. Just when you think it's over, you got to run to the toilet again because it's coming out of one of the ends. It just doesn't stop.
I just
yes, Warrior. We talked
Wayne.
about that earlier. The Buff Bagwell Dark Side. We will be probably talking about
Good
that tomorrow.
Lord.
Today, if we got time, but I made Bottles watch it today.
I saw that, Don.
I can't wait to talk about this shit.
If you don't, here's a tip for people. If you don't have Vice TV, you can go on the Vice TV website and pull up Dark Side of the Ring and watch the latest episode. They'll want you to put in a cable provider. If you don't have cable, like I don't, I've got YouTube TV, you get a free pass. That's what it says. Have a free pass on us. And I clicked on it, and I watched that. It was amazing.
Look what you've done to poor Humble. Now she's even on the Zaxby's gag. Talking about Eddie Kingston.
Eddie's had a little too much Zaxby's. He switched to the chicken strip salad at Zaxby's. Instead of having the dinner box.
I do want to talk about Buff Bagwell tomorrow, but if you haven't seen it, I want everybody to have a chance to watch it, but I'll give you a little teaser of it. And I'm not going to give away the good stuff. Buff Bagwell shot his father with a gun. Like, that legit happened. Everything you've ever heard about Buff Bagwell is true. Everything. It's insane.
His mother.
Nope. Don't give it away. Don't give it away. That's the best part of this whole thing.
It is. It really is. It really is.
That is.
If anyone remembers the referee from WCW who wore shorts, and he also moved over to TNA. Guy's name was Slick Johnson. Apparently, he was best friends with Buff Bagwell. And he interjects a lot. He brings a lot to the table in this.
And he verifies it. He verifies.
He verifies everything. Yes.
So yeah, back to the AEW show. Darby Allin and Jay White had a match. I don't know what the point of this match was. It's kind of a weird thrown out there type moment, right? Like they got a small feud from some shit that happened last week that I'm totally
not.
There's
no fucking feud. They just threw it together. They announced before he was going to Sting's retirement match. They announced he's going to wrestle Jay White.
Well, he's going to Mount Everest soon. Like he's going to climb Mount Everest, and I think this is a way for them to get him off TV so nobody's asking about him. But
and
then
they'll sell Darby sickles at the next event after that because that's what he's going to turn into up there, a Darby sickle.
Long story short, the Bang Bang Gang broke up last night. Now we officially have a trios. Hopefully we have a unification bout so we can get rid of some of these titles in this company. Because one of them is a 6-man tag and the other one is a trios tag, and both of them have 3 members. So why do we have 2 different named titles in the same company, essentially? Oh, no, Ring of Honor is different. No, it's not. They defend the Ring of Honor belts on AEW television because Ring of Honor doesn't have a damn channel. They don't have TV. So that's why they're on AEW. So I'm trying to tell. It's essentially like the U.S. tag team titles back in the day on WCW when they had those. If you remember, they had the World Heavyweight Tag Team Champions and they had the U.S. Tag Team Champions. And they did that so that Jim Cornette and his group would have a title to defend because they were the biggest heaters in the company. That's why they did it, because they always had something to defend. They rarely lost those belts. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
And these belts are participation trophies. Basically, is what it is.
They really are. He was determined to have a 6-man for the Young Bucks and their friends, and they don't have it anymore because the whole CM Punk thing. Anyway, that was terrible. I'm glad that I actually had to change the channel in that moment. It was terrible. It was as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Billy Gunn got beat down. The Acclaimed came out.
Everybody got beat down.
It was just.
God, we got to move.
Why?
Yeah, we got
Why? Next was that young up and comer, Lionheart, Chris Jericho.
We're doing this again.
It was the young tag team of Chris Jericho, Lionheart, and Hook. Why? We don't know. Why? Against the gates of agony, and once again, you had a 150-pound man throwing around two 275-pound men. Grown men, and a human feather duster, a human mop, was throwing these two guys around, two Samoans around like they are nobody's business. Figure that one out. And the guy got I'm going to go right to the end. Hook choked out one of the gates of agony. It might have been gate number 1 or gate number 2. I don't know. And he barely had his arm around the guy's neck. You could see the arm moving around like this while the ref was checking him.
So, Chris Jericho is the vampire of wrestling. He is going to suck the blood out of every young talent that he comes across. If he sees you getting a push, Chris Jericho is there to suck the blood out of you and try to ruin your career. How in the hell MJF survived him is beyond me. It's beyond me.
He's sucking the life force out of Hook so that he may book his own shit for another 10 years. He'll live in infamy for another 10 years. He'll be 65-year-old Chris Jericho.
Lionheart, old man Chris Jericho.
Lionheart.
The old lion Chris Jericho. I can see it already. I can already see it. The old lion Chris Jericho. He's still got a few tricks up his sleeves, folks. Don't let the leathery skin fool you.
His chest will be caved in so badly, you can look through him and see his opponent behind him.
Might even see his spine.
That's correct.
Ooh. Maze is not a fan of Taz.
I do like Taz. I don't like Excalibur or Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone, no. I will say throughout this entire show, what a move! That was one of the best moves of the night. As he said about Hook, doing some sort of suplex to a 275-pound man where the guy had to jump so Hook could do the suplex. Come on, Tony. And Tony Schiavone even said in one of his podcasts with Conrad Thompson, a long time ago, he's just signed with AEW for the money.
Well, why else
he did make a reference to that. Why else would he be there? He's not there for the good times or the high ratings.
It beats being a barista. I'll just say that.
It does. Just get rid of Schiavone, have him work backstage, have him
that's the
clear
role.
The locker room. And Jim Ross, they finally did the right thing and phased that guy out. He signed a 1-year contract. Have you heard this?
I did not hear this.
Jim Ross has said on his Twitter account he signed a 1-year contract with AEW for pay-per-views only. He will not be on broadcast television. Pay-per-views only. They'll bring him out for probably a main event like they do now, and that's it. He's fried. He's done. It's a slurpy. It's like using a paper straw in a big gulp. And you get to almost not even to the end of the big gulp, and it's just shot. And Jim Ross is just shot. You can't do anything with him now. It's done.
Alex, we're going to get to the ratings here in a minute, but the total number was 802. I'm going to just close this out because I can't do this anymore.
801, Don.
801, sorry. Yeah, let's not give that extra 1,000. Willow Nightingale versus Riho. Riho is a thing still. She's the gift that keeps on giving. All 30 pounds of her in the ring with the girl that is got to be close to 200 pounds. The side of this was she's got to be at least 200 or more.
At least 200.
I'm just saying, like, I'm not trying to call out weight. God knows I'm a fat ass myself, but I'm not in the ring and I'm not getting paid to do this shit.
Pal, I got a beer gut and I don't give a fuck. She's fat and nobody wants to see all that running around the ring. And she tries to pick people up. And I'm telling you, she tries to.
Don't do it.
She tries to do power moves on people and she's got to wait a minute. Oh, I'll get her up and down. And she did it with She did it with goddamn Rio last night. She tried to lift up Rio for some move over her shoulder, and she had to stop and do it all over again because
I thought you were going to talk about her pissing on herself when she picks up bigger girls.
Like when she picked up Statlander and urinated in the ring on live television. Oh. Hey, some people like that, pal. I'm sure there were a lot of neckbeards that wish they were underneath her.
Throw up the ratings. Bring the ratings
I'm going right there, pal.
Bring up the ratings. Because we talked about it earlier. Monet comes out at the end of this match. She beats up the one girl and it looked good. She helps fend off the crew. They've got a battle now, it looks like, on TBS. I don't know where this is going to go. I will be watching, so we'll see. I will see.
Would you like to see these quarter hours now?
I do want to see the quarter hours, yes.
Here we go.
801,000 people watch this show. And do you guys see that very middle where the bottom dropped out?
That would be right here, Don.
Who would that be?
That would be the Elite, the Young Bucks.
Oh, those guys.
Versus Eddie Kingston and the Death Triangle.
Ooh. So that we didn't talk about the English guy that came out. He came out and did a promo last night. Did his numbers go up? Because it looks like they did.
It went up to 798. It went up probably
almost 50,000. 60,000 almost.
61,000 people. It went up because Will Ospreay came out and did a live promo. And you know what? He showed some fire. Thick accent, but he wasn't bad. He wasn't hateful.
No, it wasn't.
It would get you interested in Will Ospreay if somebody would have came out and had some kind of issue with him, or you would have known where the whole thing was going. And then Snooki Perazzo came out and did a backstage promo, which was horrendous. And then Jay White and Darby Allin started.
Do you want to know why I have an issue with Ospreay right now and that promo?
Why's that?
That's the first goddamn thing he should have done when he came out. That's the promo he should have done when he debuted. That should have been it. It shouldn't have been, I'm going to have a match, and we're going to have a match to have a match. He should have had this promo day one, and I might have had a little bit more interest in him. Man. The ratings peaked with the debut of the newest star, Sheldon Cooper.
Sheldon the Crusher Cooper.
They started off with $1 million tonight. Last night. They started off with $1 million.
What does bruv mean?
Well, he said
that a little bit. Bruv.
He said that a little bit too much. That's too much.
Brother.
He said a little bit too much, and that's fine. It didn't bother me. I noticed he said it quite a few times. It wasn't quite as bad as Hogan in 1994, but it was there. Where he said like
Vince
brother
Russo-esque.
23 times.
Vince Russo-esque with bro and bruv. Yes.
I didn't hate it. Like I said, I didn't hate it. It was okay. What did they end with on the Wardlow match, just so we're clear?
Let's see. They started at 899,000.
Well, that was the first quarter. They started with $1 million. So they only lost 100,000 people from that show, which is actually pretty good for them right now for that first quarter drop.
The Wardlow match is only 10 minutes, Don.
Yeah, I know.
He was in and out. And
what was that at? 815?
815, 899,000.
899 to 815. So they held their core audience, which is around that 800,000 mark, right?
Pretty much, yes. Yes. When the Elite came out is when the bottom fell out. But that's not that they didn't touch ground yet. They didn't touch the bottom yet. As we'll see as we go on.
Well, and then it was 730, right? 737 and then 799. And they held that, right? For the next for half an hour, they held that number. Who was in that segment?
Let's see. The next segment was Jay White, Darby Allin.
Okay, Darby Allin's a draw.
That was 799,000.
And no, I have not seen Alex. I have not seen Ryback talking about seeing Alex Riley lately. I have to check that out because that guy's been popping off at the mouth all week. So
he's insane. He's insane.
He is insane.
It's really
he's completely out of his head.
Mentally wrong with Ryback.
Yes. Well, my point being is that
when Gates of Agony and Lionheart Chris Jericho came out, they dropped down to 732, Don.
So everybody said I'm done with it. It's Chris Jericho. 60,000 people said I've seen enough. I'm going home for the night. 67,000 people.
Almost 70,000, yeah.
I got to get the hell out of here. And then they said it's not going to get any better with what's on next. I'm absolutely pulling the parachute. Get the hell out of here. He's gone. And I will check it out, Warrior. Promise. So That's the show, guys. I mean, it was an average show, and they had their average rating. They didn't pop a million. They didn't even pop 900.
627,000 people at the end of the show for that women's match where Mercedes Moné came out. That was rock bottom for this company. Rock bottom. They've never been lower.
105,000 people said, nah, to hell with this. I'm out of here. Screw this shit. I ain't doing this.
Why would you do that? Why?
Here's what I would have done. And let's do the fantasy booking again, right? I would have had this at the top of hour 9. And
she could have sat ringside with the commentators and talked about the women's division. And then when Anna Jay and Sky Blue came out at the end to interfere and to beat down Willow Nightingale, she could have jumped up out of her chair and defended Willow Nightingale and beat him off. Pardon my expression.
What the hell's going on here?
What's that? Yes.
Some of your phrasing tonight, Models, has been questionable at best.
Sorry about that.
Here comes Mercedes Moné. She's going to beat everybody off.
Why not?
Oh, God.
Where's the line start?
I would have had her at the top of the hour 9, and I'd have closed with your main event, and I'd have had Swerve Strickland interrupt the match, and that's how I would have booked this show way differently. And I would have given the Young Bucks that backstage shit, but they're going to do it, so you can't cut it out. That's just what they're going to do. I would stop that shit altogether. I would stop the corporate idiot parts of this altogether. I don't have anything else to say about this shit. I really don't. It was, like I said, it wasn't the worst show they've done. It wasn't.
Oh, no.
It was not good. There was
no John Moxley. There was no Orange Cassidy.
Thank God.
We left out one important thing that I'd like to bring up.
Okay.
Kyle O'Reilly did a little backstage interview.
Oh, shit. I did forget about that for good. He looks like a hobo that woke up in his car and wandered in off the street to cut a promo.
He looks like the poorest guy that works at the car wash.
He does. Like,
terrible. Last week he had oil spots all over one side of his shirt. Grease stains. Like somebody took a handful of grease and went on one side of his shirt. Last night he had on just a white tee and a baseball cap. And looked terrible. And I will say, I hate to quote other podcasts, but Bischoff talked about this today. He says, in other companies, even in TNA, guys come out in gear, guys come out dressed up. WWE guys come out dressed up.
There's a word for it.
What is it?
They look like professionals.
They look like professionals. The guys at AEW are not told to wear decent gear, to come out dressed up, decent attire. They look like the guys who put the ring up. They look like the guys who drive the trucks.
Look like a superstar wrestler that you're trying to be. He literally looked like a hobo.
He did.
And
terrible.
I don't know what they're doing with him, but it's not good so far. The bags under his eyes, it makes him look like he's still suffering from whatever he was going through. So I prefer not to see that guy again until he can at least look like he's healthy, because he doesn't look healthy to me. I'm not trying to rip the guy. He doesn't look healthy.
He's had, he broke his neck.
Yes.
And he had nerve damage in his neck, which affected, I believe it was his right arm, the power in his right arm, the Orndorff problem, the Paul Orndorff problem, where the arm started to atrophy and he couldn't move it. Orndorff got it back eventually, but he still couldn't lift weights properly with that arm and build it back up. It did atrophy. The muscles did.
Yeah.
Don't know what O'Reilly's going to do.
Paul Orndorff's right arm and later in life looked tiny. And yes, he did get diabetes. He did get diabetes. I do know that.
And Kyle hid one of his arms, I believe it was the right arm, behind his back in that promo yesterday. So who knows what his status is? I would hate to see somebody actually break their neck and die in the ring. But, you just pick out people and say, that's a good candidate, that's a good candidate. I hate to be morbid, but I don't know.
Well, Al Snow made some pretty crazy remarks last week. He said eventually you're going to see somebody die in an AEW ring. He said eventually you're going to see it. And that was pretty morbid to hear that out loud, man. That was sad. Mm-hmm. I did want to talk about some ratings, though, that were going on in WWE real quick. SmackDown last week did 2.4 million people. I do not have the
Terrific.
quarter breakdowns, but that's pretty good. But here's
Very
my
good.
point. They've climbed a little, but they've sort of been around that mark now for about the last 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Raw is going through the roof. If you watch this week's episode of Raw, it was fantastic. Someone in that room is paying attention to what the fans are saying. The fans have been saying for months now, give me a little more wrestling action in the ring and a little less talking every 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They had a few talking segments that were to the point, and they had a personal issue, and they let you know, we're going to do this, or we're going to fight for this. The matches were really good this week, and it closed with one of the best matches I've seen on Raw in a while.
Long time.
It was for the IC Championship to see who's going to face Gunther. I cannot lie, I think the wrong guy won. I think if you heard Chad Gable's pop when he came to the ring to get in that match, that dude is as over as you can get right now. He has never been this over. They love this guy. Sami Zayn had his time last year at WrestleMania, right? He headlined night one. It's time to let the other guy that's hot right now get that spot. They hugged after the match. I'm going to put this out there and say this is what I think. I don't think we're done seeing the end of Chad Gable in the midst of getting somehow involved in this match. What do you think?
I thought about that when Sami won.
Yeah.
But we're not at WrestleMania yet. We got a few more weeks. Something could happen. Sami came out today and commented on the fact that he received a lot of hate in the last couple of days because he won that match. Yes, he did.
I didn't see that.
And he couldn't believe it. And all that negative energy he said kind of messed him up a little bit. I'm just paraphrasing here, but because I don't have it in front of me. But he's going to work through it and try to give the people the best match he possibly can.
So he's feeling the heat now too. Like the fans are getting boisterous, and Sami Zayn was the internet darling last year with what was going on. And are we going to get another three-way for that title? Because we got one last year, and I don't want to see another one. I just don't want to see another one. You know what I would like to see is a best 2 out of 3 falls or something along those lines.
I'd like to see Gunther lose that belt quickly so he can challenge for the heavyweight championship.
Well,
he needs to move up into the heavyweight championship territory and that next upper echelon. He really needs to do that.
I think he's already there, quite honestly. I think he's already there.
He is there. But I think the writers haven't done it yet.
I don't want to see him go against a heel. Like, it's got to be a baby face that he challenges. It can't be Drew McIntyre. And I'm going to throw my hat in the ring before we even do a WrestleMania picks. I think Drew McIntyre is absolutely winning that title. I absolutely believe he is.
Yep. And I think somebody's going to cash in on it.
I feel like you have to do something different with this Gunther deal. You have, and by the way, he's a heel too. So I'm just saying.
Gunther is a heel.
No, I'm talking about Damian Priest cashing in. I got what you're laying down there, brother.
Dude, I would love to see Imperium versus the Judgment Day. I could watch those matches all day long. Just give me 3 weeks of that shit, and I would love it.
Okay, I could see that. I want to see something different at WrestleMania, something we haven't seen in a long time. Like I said, a best 2 out of 3 falls. If you're going to do a 3-way, make it really interesting. 2 out of 3 falls, triple threat. I've never seen that before. I've never seen that. That would be cool as shit. Everybody gets a win early, and the next pin wins, right? And you have Gunther get a pin early in the match, so it looks like he's just dominant. I don't give a shit who he pins, but one of them gets shit kicked out of the ring, and then bam, 1, 2, 3, done. Right? Like, I think that would be great.
What company would you say right now has the best wrestlers in the world?
That's WWE.
There was a big debate online about that.
This isn't even debatable.
Tony says he has the best roster on the
planet.
planet.
I saw this shit. He's also got
Okada,
a lot of
Ospreay, Mercedes Moné.
Okay.
Orange Cassidy.
When he draws
Sky
a million
Blue.
people again, let me know. When he draws a million people, get us start taking him seriously. Which I want to talk about on the Raw show because this is what I was going to get at.
Dude,
Raw
he couldn't draw flies in a porta potty.
I know. Raw did 1.75 million.
Tremendous.
That's a huge number for Raw. That's huge. That is a big number in today's wrestling environment with TV because people are consuming this shit in all different ways now. They're not just watching TV. You and I are the old heads. You're even farther ahead than I am. You're watching this shit on YouTube. I still got cable, for God's sakes. People are watching this shit more and more. I'd like to know how many people total watch this show, right? Like, that's what I'd want to know.
Right.
Colin just called us bigots. It's not nice.
Bigots?
Called us bigots. I'm kidding. He said Tony has the biggest wrestling.
Bigots.
He confuses bigots with bigots. So that's what I like to see.
Slipshod spelling, Collins.
Yeah, well, we'll sing me in full.
Slipshod spelling. But go ahead.
So that's what I like to see. We're getting close to WrestleMania season. Raw is kicking the shit out of the ratings. I'm loving Raw right now. It's killing me Tuesday mornings because I'm getting up and half asleep because I sat up and watched the damn show again, man. Every week, Raw's getting better and better. Raw and Smackdown need to start mimicking what Raw is doing, quite frankly. I get that you want to have The Rock out there, and I would do The Rock, and I would do all those things. The Rock's been great. He's been amazing. But Raw right now is gained almost 400,000 viewers in like the last 4 months on average.
Well, not in the last 4 months.
Yes.
Football season's over, Don.
I've looked into that, right? I have. Last August, they were like 1-3. They were 1-3, 1-4. They were still doing those numbers.
Mm-hmm.
They're at 1-7-5. The Cody Rhodes segment was huge. They're absolutely huge. I'm enjoying this. I can't wait to watch tomorrow night. SmackDown
people
tomorrow.
Watching this? Let me get your input on this. Are people watching Raw hoping The Rock shows up?
No, I don't think so. Nah, not a chance.
Okay.
No. There's not a chance because you know he's going to be on SmackDown because it's network TV. Now, heading into WrestleMania week, I think you're going to see him on both channels.
Have you heard about The Rock's schedule? It was released by PW Insider.
I have not. Please give me
that. The Rock is filming a movie from May through August this summer. So that means he's not going to be at Money in the Bank. He won't be at SummerSlam.
He might be at SummerSlam.
He won't be at and he won't be at the Saudi Arabia show.
The Crown Jewel.
Summer. Yeah, well, whatever they call it. Yes, he won't be at that, which is what they rumored was going to be The Rock versus Roman Reigns. Fine, you would see that then. But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
See, Humble says she watches for The Rock and Roman, so she watches Sunday night.
Yeah.
Humble,
yeah.
I would strongly advise watching Monday. It's become a great wrestling program. It's been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Bottles.
And if you want any real pro wrestling news, don't mess with Fightful. Don't mess with Wrestling Observer.
No.
Pro Wrestling Torch. Go to PW Insider and look at the work of Dave Scherer and Mike Johnson. Those guys check and double check and validate stories. Yes.
We had a lot to cover tonight. We got a lot more to cover tomorrow. Right? So
wow, the whole show's gone.
Yes, the whole show's gone.
Holy
so here's
mackerel.
what
it was just filled with nonstop hate over AEW.
Please like and subscribe. Lord. We appreciate you guys so much. Like and subscribe. But I do want to give you a teaser for tomorrow, right? We're going to talk about a certain wrestling journalist who has gone completely off the wagon as of late. And we got a few stories that he has thrown out there that's probably going to blow your mind. You're not going to believe some of the shit he said as of late. It threw me through a loop, and he's going to die on that hill. He's going to die on that hill.
It's like if you go to a family reunion, to a picnic, and you see your grandfather or your grand uncle that you haven't seen in years who's got dementia. And you try to carry on a conversation with him.
And he just goes, have you seen my pet rock? Grandpa, what the fuck? We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about the Buff Bagwell story.
Dead Iron Mike Sharp was a hell of a dancer.
Thank you all again for watching. We're going to talk about that. I can't wait to talk about the Buff Bagwell. Some of the shit in that thing blew my mind. I'll have to go back and watch it tomorrow to take notes. That was
Richard Gracia. He's a new guy.
Here's my question. They could have done this Buff Bagwell show could have been 2 hours. Am I wrong? They could have done 2 hours on him.
There's so much stuff they left out. I'm sure
there is so much.
It was just absolutely married 3 times. All the wives still love him.
I don't want to. Let's not give it away.
I can't support. It's just absolutely unbelievable. And no matter what he did to anybody in his life, friend, foe, female, they all love him. Everybody loves him.
Can't speak highly enough about it. Love
charismatic.
I can't wait.
Great guy. He brought back Scotty Riggs. And this is Scotty Riggs, if you've seen Scotty now. Scotty Riggs has a whole mouthful of piano keys. Whole mouthful of chiclets now. In the show, he doesn't have any teeth whatsoever.
We got to talk about
DDP hooked him up with some teeth. So
I also want to talk about the Scott Hall show that they did. The life and retrospect of Scott Hall.
I'll have to watch that because I didn't see it.
God, that was heartbreaking, man. That was hard to watch. Yes, you can find the Buff Bagwell episode on YouTube right now. You can find it. You can. However, the audio is the shits. The audio is the shits on YouTube for the two that I saw that I try to watch. But, I can't wait to talk about this tomorrow. We look forward to having you guys back. Please like and subscribe. Johnny, you got anything else? You know who I know didn't like last night's show?
That son of a bitch.
He wasn't a fan.
Because he couldn't get free teeth from Diamond Dallas Page.
Until next week, Gordon Soley saying so long from the Sunshine State.